Hey, welcome to this video. If you want to know what are gouache colors and how similar or different they are to watercolors, then this video is for you. My name is Mandar Marathe and I'm a fine artist and I answer questions sent to me by my viewers and students. So let's switch the camera so that you can see my desk and I can explain to you what are the differences between gouache and watercolor. So I have two columns here, one is watercolor and here is gouache, and I have marked few points on which I'll be discussing. So generally these watercolors are painted in transparent fashion and gouache are painted generally in opaque manner. Then correcting mistakes, whenever that happens or we by mistake spill some color or some spatter falls on your painting, then correcting mistakes is difficult with watercolor but it's easy with gouache. Then in terms of what mainly differentiates gouache versus watercolor is the use of white as a color. So in transparent watercolor, traditional watercolor, white is not used, whereas gouache is used. In gouache, white color is often used, very often used. Then in terms of painting, uh, when you want to create different values of the same color, or you want to create different grays, then which is more convenient, or in which medium it's more easy or difficult. So value control is slightly more difficult in watercolor, whereas it's much more easier in gouache, because the moment you add more white, the value goes down or the color becomes slightly lighter. So those are the differences. In terms of painting with these two different colors, the medium is same. They are painted with water. They dry pretty quickly on paper, and they both can be re-wetted if you apply uh, water on top of that, so they're not permanently fixed on the paper even when they are dry. So which one to choose? I mean, this is a personal choice. There is no, this is one medium is not better than the other or worse than the other. There are advantages of both the mediums. So you have to choose which one suits you best. My recommendation would be, if you want to, if you are just starting out, using gouache is much more easier because you can correct different mistakes easily. You can cover up areas with different colors, but this is not to say that you can't start painting with watercolor. I mean, they have both their strengths and weaknesses. So I generally do, what I do is I tend to go for best of both worlds. So what I do is, instead of buying gouache colors separately, I buy watercolors and I buy gouache white as one tube, and then I mix those, and whenever I need a gouache kind of feel, or I want to cover up mistakes, or I want to change the value or have better value control, or I want to give the painting much more opaque look or more realistic look, I add gouache to the colors, gouache white to the colors, transparent watercolors, so that I get a gouache color. And whenever I want to have a very transparent look to the painting or to a particular area, then I use the watercolors without any gouache in it. So that's how I use watercolors and gouache and tend to get best of both worlds. You won't know the difference unless you try both independently. So I request you to try both these, and in terms of expenses, this way you won't have to buy gouache separately. You can just buy one more tube of gouache which is opaque white, and you are good to go. So that's all about the answer to this question. And if you have any of your question which you want to get answered, then this is the place. On the screen you see the URL of that. It's marathiartstudio.com/questions. You can post your questions there so that I get to see them, and then I can answer those in one of the upcoming lives. So that is all for today. So give watercolors and gouache a try and decide for yourself which one is more convenient and which effects you like the most. So until next time, happy painting.